The Christmas Chronicles 2 is the brand new Netflix original film sequel to the 2018 film The Christmas Chronicles and stars Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn, Darby Camp, Julian Dennison, Jahir Bruno, Tyrese Gibson, Sonny Soljic, Judah Lewis, and Malcolm McDowell. It tells a story about Kate Pierce, who is now a cynical teen, is unexpectedly reunited with Santa Claus when a mysterious troublemaker threatens to cancel Christmas forever. This film is also directed by Chris Columbus, is an hour and 52 minutes, and is PG. Welcome back to a brand new review here on Max Talks Movies. And once again, guys, before we get into my overall thoughts of this movie, and positives, the negatives, and then my score, please consider hitting that like button. It's one of the best ways to support this channel. Also, please comment down below your thoughts. Tell me before if you have not seen this movie, did you see the first one, or you're just going to skip it and go to the second one? Also, tell me if you have seen the first one, are you excited to see the sequel? And if you have already seen the Christmas Chronicles Part 2, let me know your overall thoughts on the movie in non-spoiler fashion. Worst, favorite, tell me where it fits for you overall on the year in the comments section down below. Also, please subscribe, ring that bell if you like movie reviews, TV show reviews, streaming platform reviews, and movie rankings. Please subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, you can find that as well in the description below. Without further ado, let's get into this review. So I was pleasantly excited for this movie, actually. I did watch the first one when it came out 2 years ago, and I felt like it was fine. It was average. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Now, obviously, if you were joining me for the first time and maybe you haven't seen the first one, do you have to see the first one to like this one? You actually don't really have to see the first one. Now, there are, of course, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are back from the first one. Darby Camp as Kate, Sonny, and Judah Lewis as Teddy. They're all back from the first one. But Teddy is kind of on the sidelines this movie. And there's a couple of new characters. There's a new family. Darby Camp and Judah Lewis's parents. Her mom, as we found out in the first one, her dad passed away. Her mom is now in a new relationship with Tyrese Gibson. And Tyrese Gibson has a son named Jahir Bruno. And Bruno and Camp are the ones who get to go see Santa in this movie. Do you have to see the first one? You actually don't. Now, would I recommend you see the first one to care a little more about this one? That I would understand, because I'm not sure if you're going to care a lot about the characters if you haven't seen the first one, and maybe you wouldn't understand what's going on in this one if you haven't seen the first one. But 2 is just as fun as the first one, in my opinion. I think Kurt Russell, once again, is easily one of the best Santa Clauses that we've had in movies. He's absolutely brilliant, and he knows exactly what movie he is in. He is so over the top to like 3,000. He is so into this role, and it's really great to see. So I love when I watch movies where you can see the actors having fun playing in their roles, and you can tell Kurt Russell is just having an absolute blast. Just like in the first one, there's a huge musical set piece in there, and it's brilliant, maybe even more than the first one. And the first one, I actually like the song better here in the second one than it was in the first one. So that's another step up from this movie. Now, as we were teased at the end, we got a huge cameo at the end of the first one, and that is that Goldie Hawn, who is actually Kurt Russell's wife in real life, is Mrs. Claus, and now she is basically in this movie as a whole. And what I loved about her is that they didn't just make her this stereotypical Mrs. Claus that we get in most Santa Claus-related movies. She just sits on the sideline, just keeps asking when Santa going to come home. And that's about it. For this one, she is a part of the action. They do make a joke about maybe it should be Mrs. Claus's workshop is what it should be called, because she designed it. And the joke did actually fit what was going on. And I actually like that it fit. It didn't feel too forced. It also sends a good message to kids who are going to watch this movie. But she gets into the action while Kurt Russell basically deals with Darby Camp finding out something during the movie. She and Jahir Bruno work together as well to figure out this whole plan of bringing back the North Pole together. So she's fully in the action. She's also great in the movie. And, of course, her and Russell have absolutely killer chemistry on screen. Julian Dennison is kind of the big addition to the movie. He is the villain, Bells-Nickel, who everyone knows from The Office, but now we get to see him in full force here. And Julian Dennison, who Hunt for the Wilder People and Deadpool 2, is now brought in to be a villain of the movie. In the first one, we didn't really have a villain. It was just the idea of Kurt Russell finding these kids on where they live and working to get back to the North Pole. This one, there's actually a villain who brings everyone together for the conflict of the film. And just like Goldie Hawn and just like Kurt Russell, Gillian Dennison knows exactly what movie he is in. He is so over the top as this villain, but it does work. And you understand his motive for why he's the villain. Is it very generic? Of course. But you buy him and Kurt Russell's relationship from when Gillian Dennison was an elf, and all that type of stuff really does work well. The kids are okay when they're in there. It was actually cool to see Sonny Siljic, who's from mid-90s, him pop in here for a little bit. That was nice to see as well. Didn't know he was in this movie. He's not in the first one. So as a whole, the cast has a real fun time. That the movie knows exactly what it is. It's not trying to play it too serious. There are some serious moments talking about, once again, Kate and Teddy's dad's death back from the first one. So there's still some emotional, deep parts of the movie. For the most part, it's having itself a ball. And again, as I said, Chris Columbus did direct this movie. He produced the first one, but he is a part of the writing team and directing this one. Obviously, he is known basically from doing, he has done the first 2 Home Alone movies. He's done Mrs. Doubtfire. He's done the first 2 Harry Potter movies. He's done Percy Jackson. And the last movie he did was Pixels back in 2015. So he's had a 5-year break of directing a movie, and he is back with this one. And he does a good job. He knows the feel of Christmas. Obviously, Home Alone and even Harry Potter hints at that Christmas aspect. So I did enjoy his direction as well. But of course, there are tons of issues with the movie, and most of them come down with the plot. I would say I had more fun in this one than the first one, but the actual plot of this one is not that great compared to the first one. Obviously, it's kind of a fish out of water with Santa Claus in Boston, I believe is where he was in the first one with the 2 kids, and him trying to go around as the real Santa. That stuff kind of worked better than this one, with the idea of this villain, Gillian Dennison, basically trying to become Santa Claus 2.0. And some of the plot details of how the kids help out don't really make a ton of sense. And Sonny Soljic's character feels very forced into this movie. I love seeing him on screen. I think he's a really talented young child actor. When they reveal who he is, it kind of falls flat. It feels like you've seen that in a lot of movies like these, where the character could be someone who the kids don't know. But this, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but it felt very forced in. And of course, another part that felt very forced in was the idea of Kate and Teddy having now a new stepbrother and a new stepdad. And I literally just saw this type of storyline in Over the Moon, but what Over the Moon did it a lot better than this. Because really, Jazir Bruno, they try to give Jack a big character arc in the movie because he's aligned with Goldie Hawn really for most of the movie, but he doesn't really get the biggest of arcs. You really care about Kate the most because Kate is the one who you remember from the first one, and the child acting is fine. It's nothing special here from Camp or from Bruno, but they're both doing I think the best they were given as well. Sometimes I'm not even going to blame Camp really at all because I want to mention we did see Bruno's lead in the Witches, so he's been busy. But Camp, some things she says that she's actually brilliant, and then the other words she speaks, and it kind of makes her dumb. So the back and forth with her being super smart and believable to then being dumb just doesn't really work at the same time for me. But as a whole, guys, the Christmas Chronicle does have a really weak plot once again. Some things are way too cheesy. And again, the CGI just isn't that great in here. The elves do look, I would say, better than the first one, but there's some other creatures there's a lot of new creatures and a lot of new tech stuff that they put into this movie, and it doesn't really always hold up. So I would say that's one of my main issues. The plot itself is not a great issue. The script isn't that great. But really, guys, you're watching this movie because Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are the leads. That's the only reason. That's why I watched this movie. So overall, guys, I'm going to give the Christmas Chronicles 2 the same grade that I gave the first one, a 2.5 out of 5. But I'm going to go a bit higher with my percentage. I'm going to give it a 53%, nearing that 55. I'm going to give it technically a fresh review for the Christmas Chronicles 2. I had a really fun time. I think I had more fun, as I said, in this one than in the first one. If you want to make me a critic, die hard like that, I'll probably go with the first one over the second one with my issues with it. But this one I had a lot more fun with. So guys, Check out the Christmas Chronicle 2 on Netflix. Let me know in the comment section your non-spoiler thoughts. Once you get to see this movie, tell me your positives, the negatives. Tell me if this is better than the first one. Did you actually enjoy this one just like me more than the first, or do you disagree with me? Let's have a conversation in the comment section. I'll reply to all your comments. Please like, subscribe, share. I have a lot more reviews coming down the line. 3 more this week, 2 movie reviews and a spoiler review of The Mandalorian coming down the pipe. Thank you guys so much. If you like Netflix reviews and you're new to my channel, that is great. Welcome to the channel. Probably next in my head will be more Netflix reviews. Go down a rabbit hole. I review every Netflix movie every single week. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.